Let's go, Wisconsin! Woo!
Wisconsin. Have you been keeping an eye on the elections tonight?
I just saw that one that she just won. Pam
Uh,
Crawford.
yeah, and I think that the media is now giving it to her. 75% of the vote is in. She's up 11. But we'll get to that. There's something more important than that happened in the last 24 hours that I think we should all take a second and just think about and respect. Okay, this is a big moment in American history. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Elon Musk stepping down
Nope.
from
This,
Doge.
this, this is even bigger. Okay, in the Senate. Okay, voters,
Oh, oh,
Democratic
Hakeem Jeffries.
voters, dude, Democratic voters have been screaming at the Democrats in the Senate and the House to do something, anything. And remember back with the State of the Union, it's like, what do you want them to go punch Trump? Like they don't have any power. What do you want them to do? Well, I was wrong because there was something that can be done. Okay, Cory Booker, you know who that is?
Cory Booker. That's right. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's dating Rosario Dawson, maybe.
Who's that?
She's an actress. She was in the third Clerks, maybe. Anyhow,
The
um,
third
he,
Clerks?
yeah, the movie Clerks, by what's that
Yeah.
guy's name? Kevin Smith. You know about
Yeah.
Clerks?
I know Clerks. I know the
Okay,
first one at
he
least,
was in the
but
third one where it's set in a movie burger, or what is it, movie
I,
burger or whatever.
I had no idea there was a third Clerks. Okay.
Dude, yeah, I think they're coming out with a fourth. Anyhow, Cory Booker, ladies and gentlemen, he just broke a record for the longest filibuster, pretty much. Okay,
Oh
um,
yeah.
I'm gonna make fun of this in a second, but first, let's take a look at how serious this was. This is a clip from C-SPAN.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
Well, what?
So,
I mean, is this like the Guinness Book of World Records? Like,
dude,
do we
so
just
just so you
like,
know,
oh, is it gonna
I cut that
go?
applause off. That applause went on for like 3 minutes, and I was hoping that I could get to the other end of it and he would say something that'd be worth having. But no, the applause just went for a long time. Now, okay, we'll get to the fact it is an impressive physical feat to do that. We'll
Does he
get to
get
that in a
bathroom
second.
breaks?
I don't think he gets bathroom breaks. He can have water. The only rule is you have to keep talking. You just have to keep
So is he wearing
talking.
a catheter or something? You have to
I
wear a
have
catheter
I have no
at
idea. He
least.
must have like gone pee right before we started, then drank very little water. I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe he is wearing a catheter. But like I said, we'll talk about the physical performance in a minute. He is quoted as saying that he decided to undertake this marathon speech because Dems have a responsibility to do something different in the face of an unprecedented change taking place. Like he's trying to make it seem like this is a big deal. The other thing he said is, I've been hearing from people all over the nation calling for folks in Congress to do more to recognize the urgent crisis of the moment, and that's why he decided to do this. Now, again,
Well,
what do you
then
want?
don't vote for a continuing resolution, you idiot.
He didn't. He was not one that
Yeah.
did, but or I
Oh.
don't think he did. I'm not positive on that. But here's the thing: I go back to like, what do you want them to do? Like, they don't have any power at all. They are toothless right now. Now, I like the fact that he tried something. I mean, I guess.
Sure.
But like the whole Chuck Schumer, like America is so proud of you. Like America doesn't give a shit. Like that accomplished nothing. Now there are times where like this vote has to take place, like it has to pass or fail by a certain time, and then somebody filibusters and runs out the clock, and now they saved abortion rights or stuff like that would be an admirable thing. But this was just
Yeah.
a random middle of the week filibuster, and like no legislation got damaged by this. Like, okay, now
Yeah. He should have saved it for something, filibustering something.
true. Now to the
Could he
impressive
have
feat,
done this for the continuing resolution? Would
you
that
know,
have?
he could have, yeah, he could have.
Oh,
Again, this one was now real quick. Let's take a second to recognize he stood up there and talked for 25 hours, a little over 25 hours. Okay, that's tough to do.
impressive.
I mean, he went on CNN right afterward and he was like, "I apologize about my voice." I'm like, "Gee, I can't believe you have a voice left." Here's the thing: I was watching it and I was like, he's dramatizing this a little bit. He was like, "Oh, the physical toll it took on my body," and like I kind of wanted to laugh at him, but at the same time, like talking for 24 hours is impressive. That's all I'll say. Did it
Yeah.
accomplish anything? Not at all. It's about the only. I mean, he tried something. Can you give? I guess he gets some
Yeah.
credit because he did something that was really hard that he didn't need to do just to show people I'm trying. I'm doing something. But at
Something.
the same time,
He's trying something.
the
Yes.
the problem is the electorate, the voters are stupid and they don't get why Democrats aren't stopping this. And it's like they don't have a majority in anything. They have no power to stop it at all. The only people
Well,
that have a power to
they
stop it are
could have stopped the continuing resolution.
that one, yes. And again, there's a wing of them that think that
Let
the worst
Trump
case
sink himself.
scenario would have been that the government shuts down because then Trump and Elon could have just cut everything. That's that's their thought on it. So now that we talked about that miracle that happened tonight, there's going to be a nickname for this, and our grandkids are going to talk about the night that Cory Booker talked for 25 hours. Anyhow, it's
The
election night.
holiday wrapped around this whole
Exactly,
event.
yeah. And then next year, February, April Fools is going to be Cory Booker Day. Anyhow, the elections tonight. So there were 3 elections tonight. First of all, I told you last week that, or last time we did 3 or 4 days ago, that Democrats had flipped a seat in Pennsylvania that Trump had won by 16, and a Democrat won it by like 2 or 3. And
Okay.
that was alarm bells. And I'm gonna tell you the honest truth here. Republicans haven't really been trying. Like they really put almost no national effort into that race. Like the guy running really, he thought he had a shoe in. Trump had just won that seat by 16, so they didn't really try. They ended up losing. That set off alarm bells. At that point, they hadn't really been trying in these 2 Democrat seats in Florida at all. Like they really weren't putting much money. They really had bad candidates. Even DeSantis came out and said, this is kind of more of a candidate issue than Republicans versus Democrats, which he was right.
Hmm.
They picked 2 loony, really pro MAGA guys. But Trump had won both of those seats by over 30 points. And both of them tonight, the Republicans are going to win both of those seats, but it looks like the margin's going to be about 14. So that's a 16-point swing. It's again, they won, and all they had to do was win by 1. So a win is a win, and this helps them have a little bit more of a pad in the house. Not much, but a little bit. But what the practical thing that's going to happen here is I don't know if there's a lot, but there's a handful of congressmen that are Republicans that are in a purple district, like one where it could go either way, and they got to be scared shitless right now because if that's a national trend, then suddenly there's a 16-point flip in who's got the advantage. Those guys, and the most important thing to these congressmen is just retaining their seat. Like they don't care about a lot else except getting reelected.
And let's talk about why that is.
Okay.
It's a cushy job where you make a decent amount of money.
It's a government job. I said this a couple weeks ago, but everybody I know that ever talks about a government job, you get overpaid and you don't have to do a lot. It's a government job.
That's not true. They work. People work in the government, even in the government job, they work.
Okay. Even at the city level, like city employees are known to
they work as much as you probably, I would imagine.
Well, I don't work hard, so but
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Most people don't work hard.
Okay, I'll agree with that. They do just enough to not get fired. But this is going to get weird because now suddenly the Republicans had passed a 9-month continuing resolution, the one that Schumer helped get through. Okay, so that was supposed to last till September, and they kind of were saying, we'll take this up at the end of summer. Like we got till the end of summer. Suddenly, with the different things that are happening with the stock market and the tariffs and whatnot, like things aren't looking good. And if they're gonna get the tax cuts through, it's like, oh crap, we need to hurry up and do it now. Because if people keep turning on us, if we pass the tax, and this is what they're thinking to themselves, if we wait till August to pass the tax cuts and the stock market is tanked and unemployment is high and America is pissed in general, and then you try to say, hey, don't worry, we're doing tax cuts that are gonna way over affect the billionaires and not help the middle class, like they'll get killed for that. So suddenly they're kind of in a scramble where it's like we need to do the buzz. What is it? The reconciliation is what it's called. But they're like we have to do that as soon as we possibly can before shit gets so bad that we can't do it at all. So that's coming up here soon. Filibuster that. Like why doesn't somebody filibuster? Yeah.
Yeah, he should have waited and held off, and used it for something like big, right?
Yeah.
Here,
let me ask you real quick on Cory Booker. Do you feel more of a positive about it? Like, hey, at least somebody did something, or do you feel like that was the wrong thing and it's almost a negative? It makes you think less of Democrats.
I like the fact that they're trying, but I also think that he just did it for himself. I feel like it was a selfish thing.
Get his name. He might be thinking of running in 28.
Yeah, it was just a selfish
Yeah.
uh act because he didn't do it to stop anything. He didn't do it to he's just doing it to get his name out there. Oh, we
Okay.
talked for 25 hours. I mean, great, good. You're in
Yeah.
the Guinness Book of World Records, I guess now. Like, but
I feel
other than
like,
that, like you didn't stop Trump from or the Republicans from passing tax cuts for the rich. Like, yeah, save it for something good. Or
yeah.
do it 2 weeks ago when we had the continuing resolution come through. Like,
I feel like I'm right on the fence with it, where it's like I'm not. It's not a positive or a negative for me, and because of the physical toll that it took on his body, I'll slightly push it over into the positive, just barely.
okay.
Anyhow, back to the House. These congressmen that are kind of in these purple districts, like I said, suddenly now they're gonna this whole moving the tax cuts for the rich, the reconciliation, the budget. They're gonna move that up right now, and suddenly you got these guys that you're gonna ask to vote in on Donald Trump's plan that is going to be wildly unpopular with the left for sure, and it looks like probably poor people and just independents. So suddenly now you need them, and you only got room for I think two now. Now that they won these two, I think it's going to be three seats. I think they're going to have three. They could have three Republican no's to still pass it, but if there's four, it's dead. So now you've got a handful, 20, 30 of them, I don't know, that are worried about reelection and realizing that the energy's on the left. There's been a 16-point swing. Will they even be able to get reconciliation through? That's kind of what I'm wondering here. And I might be overstating these simple elections tonight, but that's something to look for. They might now start going to Mike Johnson and saying, "Hey, you got to go to Trump, and we have to water this down. We have to make this more palatable." So something will get passed, but it won't be as extreme as they originally are intending to do. Or maybe the whole thing will get passed and there won't be a problem. I don't know.
I hope not.
We'll see. Um, real
We don't
quick.
need tax cuts for the rich. Oh,
So
I was going to tell you.
good.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and government employee had just gotten his job like 4 or 5 months ago.
So still in
He
the
got
probationary period.
yeah, so he's still in the probation period. He got they told him he wasn't going to be fired, but he needed to go home, and they were going to pay him for sick leave. So that was like a week of that. Then somebody he didn't even know within the I don't even know if it was in the or within the organization or not, but somebody he didn't even know emailed him and said like, "Okay, you're fired. Bring your stuff back into the office tomorrow and we'll clean you out." So he went in, did all that, and then he went home and then he got another email from his actual boss saying, "Actually, you're not fired, but stay home." And he's been at home for a month just collecting a payment for a month, doing
Okay.
nothing.
I wonder if he was somebody who like he got fired, but then it got overturned by a judge, so he's technically not fired yet, but now they're going to try to find a way to legally fire him. There's a lot of people in that where it's kind of in limbo, where a judge said you can't fire these people, and they're going to be able to fire them eventually. It's this the judge is going to make them take the proper steps to fire someone versus just
And in the meantime, they're just going to get their payment
yeah,
for doing
they're
that.
all getting paid while this plays out. So I think they have to. Um, so anyhow, those are the two House seats that were both in Florida. Wisconsin. So we kind of talked about this already. Wisconsin has a Supreme Court seat up for battle tonight. Right now, as we record, 79% of the vote is now in, and Crawford has about a 9.5 point lead. Trump won this state, and this was actually his biggest margin in the swing states. He won it by a full point. It was like 1 point even.
Hmm.
So anyhow, so you would say this is like an 8 point swing, maybe? I mean, and there's still a year and a half till the midterm, so I'm
Well,
not
how
saying
much
that.
money did Elon pump into this?
So that's where I was going with this. Elon came in and pumped 22 million, and they say Elon Musk and his affiliated groups. And I've been trying to figure out like what do they mean by that? It appears that Elon Musk can't donate all of his like. There's still rules where one person can only donate so much. So then they create super PACs, and apparently Elon has several super PACs where it's like ways for him to funnel more than he should be able to into these different races, and it's legal. That's Citizens United. We should do a whole
Yeah.
episode on Citizens United, but it's
Yeah.
legal. So, but
Leo,
anyhow,
maybe we should get rid of Citizens United.
God, overturning that would be one of like the first steps into fixing politics. And it just Citizens United just happened in like 2000, I want 8, 9, something like that. think it was in
Yeah.
the run up to the '08 election, and it had to do with a Hillary Clinton video that like Republicans had made a video about Hillary that made her look terrible, and and the Democrats were trying to say that that was basically an in-kind contribution to the Republican Party. Like they made a movie with the intent to help the Republicans. That's a campaign contribution. They shouldn't be able to make a video that costs that much money to help one party. That was the law, or that was the lawsuit. And then that's when the Republicans said, nope, they're fine to do that. And that was Citizens United. And after that, it's like, okay, corporations can pump as much money as they want into this. Anyhow, Elon screwed up, dude. Elon's favorability right now is like, I think it's like 40%, which I think is a little high. I'm kind of shocked it's 40%.
Hmm.
But like 60% of the country is really not happy with Elon right now. He went in there and he made this race about him. As soon as he started pumping money in, the left, and it's weird because in Wisconsin, you can't be a Democrat or Republican on the Supreme Court. You're just it's purple. So they're
Bullshit.
they're not officially a Democrat or Republican, but everybody knows who's who. Like it's very clear. Um, but the Democrat backed candidate, suddenly the PAC sponsoring her, all the commercials for the past 2 weeks have been about Elon. They've been, Elon Musk is trying to come into our state and take over our local politics. And it's been like they're not even attacking the actual guy running as a Republican. They're attacking Elon. And based off
Oh,
the result tonight, it worked. Now, let me tell you, I am thrilled that the Democrats are going to win this. And I don't give a crap about the Wisconsin Supreme Court at all. But
yeah.
if this had worked, if Elon came in and poured in a lot of money and the Republican wins, then Elon's going to be doing this in every election around the country. This will be his new
Mhm.
project. It's just going in, dumping money, paying people $1 million to vote. Like, should be illegal. It's exactly what the right has always complained about with George Soros, which George Soros did put 2 million into this election. So 2 million versus 22 for Elon. And then the governor of Illinois, JB Prickard or whatever his name is, he put 1 million in. So those were the two biggest donors on the left, and then you got Elon with 22 million. Either way, Elon made this about himself. Is it just me or like I don't normally revel in people's pain, but like right now, like when Elon keeps doing these interviews where he's kind of boo-hooing about like how everybody's being mean to him,
Yeah.
it kind of makes me happy. Like I
Well,
hate to
hold
sound
on. Didn't he just say like, well, the empathy was the demise of Western civilization or something like
empathy is I can't remember it wasn't the downfall. It was something like that. It's the biggest problem
that?
with
Yeah.
Western civilization is empathy. And
Did he just say it? Now he's asking for empathy for himself?
dude, so watch this clip from Fox real quick.
I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, right, you know, running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy from that? And
Oh my God.
Who gets joy from that? You know who gets joy from that is Elon Musk. You right now, and everybody's pulling out screenshots galore. But Elon is the king of like when a company goes under or company's having trouble, go woke, go broke. He'll always tweet that about
Uh,
whatever company it is. RIP to blah blah blah. Like
uh-huh.
he spikes the football and dances on people like when they go through hard stuff. Like
Yes, he does.
there's not a single person in the world,
Chainsaw for bureaucracy.
dude.
He's a bastard. How many people has he fired so far?
Oh, and when he does it, he's like, RIP to the Department of Education. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, like, you know how many people are unemployed now? Anyhow,
Yep.
there's not a single person on this earth that I would feel happier about than this happening to Elon. It couldn't have happened to the more right person, is all I'm saying.
I have no empathy for Elon
I
Musk
don't.
whatsoever.
And
Yeah.
he did it to himself. I'm telling you right now, 3 years ago, Elon, if he would have just stayed the course and made rockets and cars, he would have been thought of as, one of the great minds. He, did so many things for civilization. And now, no matter what, he's going to die and half the country is going to hate him. There's no coming back.
Most of the world, like
oh,
he's
no,
people
I'm just talking about America. Yeah.
protesting him in Germany, across the world. He's being protested.
In Europe, like 90% of people hate him. I'm just talking about America, okay?
Yeah.
But like I was thinking about it, because I think he just announced the other day that he's going to serve 120 days total, which is only another month or so, and then he's going to leave. And once he leaves, do you think there's anything he could do to get back in the good graces of the left?
No.
The only thing he could do is if he came out in real strong support of whoever the Democrat candidate is in 2028, because that's the one.
We don't want that. This is what we're
No,
fighting against right now. We don't want that.
I'm telling you right now, I think you saying that, but if he came and tipped the scales and got away from a MAGA president, I think that you would suddenly change your mind. But I don't think that's going to happen. He's totally all about defeating the woke mind virus.
I am
And
anti-oligarchy.
yeah,
Like
I
I
am
don't
too.
really like George Soros putting all
What
that money in.
what if Elon pumped all his money into getting Bernie elected? It'll never happen. But what if he did that? That wouldn't.
No, I don't
Okay.
care. I don't care. He's
Yeah.
wasting, and I've been watching some stuff on him, and he's just basically wasting a ton of money trying to get to Mars. I don't think we're ever going to go to Mars even within 100 years, and we're not going to colonize Mars within 100 years. Maybe somebody will go there. But even Neil deGrasse Tyson had a good rant on this, and he was like, why would we spend so much money trying to get to Mars when we could fix the planet we actually live on,
For a
the
lot cheaper.
easy planet?
For a lot
Yeah,
cheaper.
for
You know,
yeah, for way cheaper.
do you know why that is? Because you started this with an inaccurate statement. You said he has wasted a lot of money. He's not wasting his money.
Yeah.
Most of the money that's getting wasted on this is coming from the U.S. taxpayers. Like that's every time you see one of his, and here I'm gonna say
Fraud, waste, and abuse right there, baby.
every time you see one of his rockets blow up, like that's our money that just blew up. Now,
Hmm.
I will say, like that's kind of how the testing period for a lot of these goes. A lot of them blow up to finally get it right. So I get that. I'm not saying I hear people say sometimes like 5 out of 8 of his rockets explode or whatever, and it's like well a lot of times he's making progress towards what he's doing. I'm just saying every time one of those explodes, that's our money. That's not Elon's money that just exploded. That's us. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah. I'm
Anyhow,
curious as to where did Elon even come from? Like, is because his daughter just came out and said he was a horrible gamer. Was he a programmer or has he just always been a marketing entrepreneur, kind of like Donald Trump?
so him and Peter Thiel invented PayPal. I think was the first big thing he did. So they
But I don't think
invented.
he invented it. I think he actually just jumped in and funded it.
I'm not sure about PayPal. Now I know with Tesla and SpaceX and a lot of the other ones, like he comes in and takes over and then claims he's the founder, but he's never. I don't know. I think with PayPal, from what I heard, it was basically him and Peter Thiel, and they had a falling out back then.
Okay.
Anyhow, like they're kind of aligned now because they're both pro Trump, but I don't think they're great friends at this point. But yeah,
So
he
Peter
sold.
Thiel is behind JD Vance, Elon
Yes.
Musk, like
Peter
Donald
Thiel is
Trump, I'm
behind
guessing.
JD Vance. Nobody's behind Elon. Nobody's backing him. He's backing people.
They were business partners at one point.
They were, like I said, they apparently had a falling out for a couple of years. Anyhow,
Is Peter Thiel part of Project 2025? Do we know that?
I don't think he's a part of it. I don't think he was one of the people that wrote it. So, but
Okay.
there's a weird
Is he
thing.
right winger?
He is I think he's right. Yeah, I would think you would call him a right winger.
Okay.
He's pro don't tax me. I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. They don't care about any of the other stuff. It's don't tax me.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Don't tax my money. Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
I'd like to keep as much of my money as possible. So whatever I have to agree with to keep my money, I'll be happy with. And also,
Uh,
don't regulate me. Like that's all it comes down to is don't regulate me and don't tax me. Like let me do what I want to do.
well,
If it invo-
regulation just costs them more money. That's the thing. Just
Yeah,
let them hang on to as much money as they possibly can.
exactly.
That's all it
So
comes down to.
anyhow, and I'm going to finish up on the House of Representatives here. So Mike Johnson, like I said, is about to have a handful of scared Republicans that are kind of worried about not getting reelected. Did you see today? Congress basically shut down and had to go home for the week because they failed to pass a rule. And I'm not even going to pretend I understand how this goes, but every now and then they pass a rule, which is like, this is how we're going to do things for the next month or week or however long the rule is. And
Okay.
that's the simplest of things to pass. Like whatever party's in the majority kind of lays out their schedule and what they're going to do, and then like that passes all the time. They failed
Okay.
it. Nine Republicans voted against the rule, along with all the Democrats. So I think he could have reorganized the rule and done it again, but like kind of, and I might be wrong on this, but I think he kind of threw a fit and was like, "Okay, everybody just go home. We're not doing anything. If you're not gonna agree, we're
Mike Johnson did?
yeah." So he just sent everybody home. Come back Monday. Like we
Of
can't
course.
vote in it. And he listed all the things they could have voted on, but nope. Now we got to go home because of these nine.
Hmm.
The whole reason for voting against the rule was Anna Paulina Luna. Do you know who she is?
Yeah,
Have you seen a picture?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll look. Hold on.
Google Anna Paulina Luna bathing suit.
Uh, I
She
know the name
she
Luna. Yeah.
became famous because
Oh
she's a
yeah.
hot little Hispanic girl that was wearing like a MAGA bathing suit and looks
Oh, that's right.
she looks good in it. I'm not gonna lie.
She's cute.
She's a cutie. Um, but she's very MAGA. She was one of the ones really going for the JFK files and demanding that they release everything to her and the Epstein files. Like she's far right. Um,
Okay.
Now, with her, she's an interesting person. I think she has her sights set on trying to be president one day. Like, I really do. I think she's ambitious as
Okay.
hell. Um, there was that Democratic lady in the House that had her baby, and then Republicans tried to like force through a vote, and she like flew across country and voted with her baby in her arms.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Anna Paulina Luna basically said, "Hey, that's BS. She should have been able to proxy vote. Like, if women are having kids, like they should be able to vote by proxy. Like, and
For
that
sure.
has been allowed by
Absolutely.
that has been allowed by certain leaders of the House, and like whoever the Speaker of the House is can pretty much decide if they're doing that or not. And Mike Johnson has been a hard no. I think part of the reason is because he knows he's got a tight margin everywhere, and there are no Republican women in the House that are about to have a baby. So he's like, "Oh, this is if anything, this will help me sometime." Um, so Anna Luna said that's BS. So she's trying to get a basically like kind of a referendum, as I guess that would be like get a vote on the floor of the House, like yes or no, should we allow proxy voting for these certain circumstances? All the Democrats are behind it, and there's a couple Republicans behind it. There's enough to pass it. Okay. So Mike Johnson tried to do some procedural trick that I'm not even going to pretend I understand, but he tried to like put it in the rule that there would not be a vote on this. And
Hmm.
and that's why they voted no. They said, "Nope, sorry. Like if you're gonna try to pull some shit like that, like we're nope, see you
So
later."
he
Like,
really doesn't want women to vote.
well, and there was also a
Proxy.
Democrat that was on crutches because he just had knee surgery, and he that same night that she came in with her baby, he hobbled in. He had knee surgery earlier that day, and like wasn't even supposed to be out of the hospital that night, and left the hospital in a wheelchair, and like came in on crutches and made the vote. So
I mean, is he going to switch it when the Republicans have somebody on crutches or
I
giving
think he
birth?
could. I think he has the power to do that. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Well,
so
this just like starts a whole thing because when the Democrats take control in the second term, they can just do the same thing to them. Oh yeah, we're just going to switch it back and forth, so you guys can't vote.
I think they'll allow proxy voting, but like it should be you can proxy vote if you fall under one of these certain circumstances. You're in the hospital, you had a
Yeah.
baby, you're on maternity leave. Like it shouldn't be like there are times where like people are campaigning, like say that Cory Booker runs for president and he's out on the campaign trail. Like
Yeah.
Here's a better example. JD Vance, when he was running with Trump, kept having to like leave the campaign trail and come back and vote on key things. And there was two or three votes he missed, and he took a lot of shit for because they were important votes. But he was like, "Ah, dude, I was
Uh,
out running for president." So that's an iffy one for me. If you're running for higher office, should you get to vote by proxy? I don't know about that. But if you're in the hospital, clearly you should be able to. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it should just be certain circumstances.
for
But
sure.
right there, Anna Paulina Luna was a member of the House Freedom Caucus, which they are the farthest right group in the House. They're the sticklers for the budget and all that. And she took some smack for voting no on this. And immediately she was like, okay, I quit the House Freedom Caucus. Like, I'm out of here. And I think she is making a play for like broad appeal. Like, I think she's realizing, like, oh, like, let's face it, she's a cutie. She likes,
She's in the house,
she's in the house. She is
Florida.
so here's the thing. She's good on camera. She says some wacky shit, but like she's good on camera. She really is. And like I don't know
Okay.
why. Like I when I see her talk now, like I'm suddenly every time I'm like, oh, she wants higher office. I don't know what it is, but she dreams of yeah.
I mean, so does Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I don't see Marge is too unlikable. I think Anna Paulina Luna could sculpt her
Okay.
image and her policies into a weird spot where she could be
I haven't really listened to her, but like it
yeah.
seems like anybody in the house, like her, Bobart,
Bobert.
Marjorie. Oh, did you see the thing I sent you with Marjorie?
No, oh the you talking about the caveman thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. Today, apparently, Lauren Boebert confused Oliver Stone and Roger Stone, on the House floor, we're talking about something. Yeah, she needs to lose. I don't know what's wrong with your stupid state. I don't know how she keeps getting elected. Like, I get how Northern Georgia keeps voting for Marge, but like, Didn't Boebert only win by like a couple hundred votes last time? Like it's possible she could lose.
She switched districts because she was going to lose her district.
Okay, well,
So yeah, so
get
she
her out
just
of there.
moved to a different district. And actually, I've got it on my list because last month she was doing what she calls virtual office, where she comes and she like goes and sets up at like a Home Depot or something for the day.
Okay, like
I
to
think I
meet
think that's what it is. I'm not
to
really sure, but
like
it's
to
called
meet
virtual
and greet.
office. Yeah, something like that. Maybe she does a speech. I don't know. I'm gonna go check it out. She hasn't posted her schedule for April, but I'm gonna go
She
check out Lo and Bobert real life.
she's so annoying.
Didn't she date a liberal at one point?
I don't know. Her backstory is so goofy because her husband like got arrested at one point for like exposing himself to her and her friends when she was underage in a bowling alley. Do you know this whole story?
I did. I mean, I heard that story, but I didn't know they were underage when this
Her and her
happened.
friends were all like 16 or 17 and he was like 20 and he exposed himself to them at the bowling alley and got arrested for that. And then like a
And then
couple
she
years
married him?
yeah, a couple years later they got married. I can't remember. She's like 36 and she's about to be a grandma. Her son keeps
Yeah.
getting arrested. That
Yeah.
whole thing with the theater in Denver where she was getting
I-
groped and vaping.
yeah, I think that's where I think she was dating a liberal. She was getting groped by a liberal at the
You know, I think you're right.
Beetlejuice.
I think it did turn out that that dude was a liberal, which is kind of hysterical. Yeah. Anyhow, she's a mess. It bothers me because I find her kind of cute. I wish I didn't find her cute, but I
Yeah.
do. She's kind of cute, but she's just so annoying. It's not like Marge. I don't have any issues with. Like Marge is laughable. Like I hate to be rude, but she's laughable. Bobert's cute. Like I could find myself liking Bobert if only she wasn't so crazy. Um,
Yeah.
anyhow, tomorrow's a big day. You know what tomorrow is, right?
Oh, Tariff Day.
Tomorrow's Tariff Day. Liberation Day is what Trump has been calling it. That
I'm not sure what that means.
people have been joking about that, like liberation from our bank accounts, from our 401ks, like our money. Like, what are we getting liberated for? But he's taken the shackles off America, basically. We've been held back by all these countries that have been screwing us over for far too long, and tomorrow's the day we strike back.
Oh,
Real quick, I've been saying this for months, but you know what country stands to benefit the most from everything going on with us?
China.
China. So our whole deal in the Pacific, like the fact that we're so cozy with Japan and Korea, is like straight up our way to deter China in the region. Like that's been a thing. That's why we have troops over there. Like it's us versus China, and that's the front lines. So this last week, South Korea and Japan and China got together to hold economic talks for the first time. I think, you know what? I think they actually did it in 2019 in a response to Trump then, but nothing really came of it. But now they're like, we're not waiting. Like, let's. So China announced, and you almost can't always just, what do they say? Take it with a grain of salt. Like, if China says something, I don't know how much you believe it. China state media, like, eh. But they said
Sure.
this, and Korea and Japan have not come out and said no, so it could be true. But they said that during their talks, Korea, Japan, and China have decided they are going to respond as one to the American tariffs. So basically, they're going to form an alliance, and like
Oh, that's
so.
great. So we just lost two more of our allies to China.
Yeah, and now China has a stranglehold over that region, if you believe all this, and like that's the part of the world where most of our cheap goods come from. So like up until now, all these different trade wars, you look at it and you go, oh well, if you look at the trade between us and Canada, like they need us more than we need them, and it's true. Like like Canada will get hurt first before we will, and then if you pick any individual country in Europe, France, England, whatever, you could make the same argument. But like we have that happening in the Pacific now, and Canada is talking to the European Union about them getting together in some kind of a trade alliance to fight back.
Yeah.
We can't do it if they all gang up. If everybody gangs up against us, like that's a problem. We suddenly don't have that advantage, and it appears that that's kind of common sense, and these other countries realized it. And what's weird is I don't think they're afraid of Donald Trump on it. Like because Donald Trump said to the EU within the last week, he was like, "Oh, if you dare like team up with Canada, like then I'm really gonna hit you with tariffs." And they kind of just said, "Hey, you're already hitting us with tariffs. Like we're doing what we want to do." So like nobody's bending the knee to him on that right now. So I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
I'm
This is very interesting. I hope that it happens really quickly. Like I
like
think
it.
we have 4 years of pain. like we have 4 years of isolation and pain from our allies and everything else. And then hopefully we elect a Democrat or somebody sensible, and
Anybody.
they come in and they reestablish. But they're still our allies are still going to be like, well, they did this last time. They voted Trump in last time, or they might vote some
Yeah.
crazy guy in again. Like that we don't know.
It's
Like
like
we are a laughing stock across the fucking world right now.
no, we were clowns under Joe Biden, and now nobody's laughing anymore, docs.
That's for our other podcast.
Yeah. Um, anyhow, well, real quick, you said you hope it happens real quick. Like you hope it gets resolved real quick, or you hope what? What do you
Well,
hope
I was
happens?
saying I hope it happens real quick, and then I realized it's going to be 4 years.
Okay.
Like I was hoping that like Trump, realizes he needs his allies, but I really don't think he's going to
Well,
turn his. He doesn't like come back and go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, guys."
I don't think that there's never going to be a moment where he's like, "Oh man, I didn't realize it, but I really need these allies." That's never going to happen. Now, what could happen is that he goes, "Oh crap, the stock market is tanking, or the economy is tanking," and then hey, we need to make up with them real quick and come up with a deal. And we got to remember he has the ability, like nobody else, to get any kind of a little bullshit concession from all these countries, and then say, "Oh look, I got them to agree to this thing, so I'm going to take off the tariffs now, and everything's fine, and I won the negotiation." And then right-wing media will parrot that and say, "Oh, Trump, this was
Yeah,
all worth it because Trump got them to agree to blah blah blah," and he'll declare victory. And that's probably how this ends. It's just a matter of how long till that happens.
right. And it's totally going to happen, but we still are not going to have good relationships with our allies.
Oh, I
Like
think
we were talking about the seeds. Did we talk about that last time?
the
The
seed.
seed bank. Oh, so
I don't know if we talked
Elon
about that.
Musk destroyed our seed bank. So our government goes around. One of our buddies, his ex-girlfriend actually had a job with the government collecting seeds. She went to a certain region in the United States and she was collecting like natural seeds from plants you could eat.
Which
So the
buddy?
US, Clint,
Okay. Which
yeah.
girlfriend?
Was it Rachel? I think it was Rachel. He was telling
Okay.
me about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, she collected seeds
Okay.
and for the U.S. government, and so they have a huge seed bank, but it needs to be manned. It needs to be operated. They need to have the power on and the electricity on. Apparently, that's all like in shambles right now. And if we don't have those seeds, if stuff happens, then we we have to look to our allies to get seeds from them, right?
Yeah, they could tell us to go screw ourselves, which you couldn't
Right.
really blame them. Like
And right now we're looking for eggs. We're going and we're buying eggs that we use for dog food
turkey.
uh from Turkey. I thought it was from Brazil or somewhere.
It's also we got some kind of a deal where we're going to buy a certain amount of eggs from Turkey now. I probably
But these are
also
the
other
eggs that
countries.
we wouldn't buy. We would only buy for our dog food before. But now
Okay.
we're giving them to the to our people.
Yep. Okay. Well. So anyhow, so he's so weird. He's doing this in the Rose Garden. He's making it like a celebration, like it's an event. Like there might be like fireworks that go off and
The
streamers in the
tariff
Rose.
thing?
Yeah, it's gonna
No, what
happen
time?
at 4 o'clock in the Rose Garden. It's a celebration. It's Liberation Day. The White House is really pumping this up as like a great moment when he announces these tariffs. We have no clue what these are going to look like. He might have already gotten the message, and this might turn out to be like a lot smaller than we think it is, which would be great for me. But smart on him because remember way back like a month ago when he said, "I'm doing it on April 2nd because I don't want everybody to think, I don't think that that's why he's doing it on April 2nd. These two elections were on April 1st. If he would have done it earlier today and the market would have tanked the day of the election, dude. So
Oh,
April, and then on top of that, he's doing it at 4 p.m. The stock market closes at 4 p.m. If he did it at noon, there would be like in real time, you'd see him talking, and in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'd see the stocks tanking, and he was trying to avoid that. And by doing
mm,
it at 4, if people get a chance to kind of breathe, and then okay, the next morning, what's going to happen? It might not be as bad as
right.
it would have been. So everything about April 2nd at 4 p.m. is very strategic. Props to him, or props to somebody around him having the
Uh,
foresight to do this because he originally said April 1st. And then, like a week or two later, he said, "Oh, I'm going to do it April 2nd so that people don't think it's April Fool's." But no, it had everything to do with these elections. I swear I would put
yeah,
money on that.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of a test balloon too. He's like, oh no.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, he's with the tariffs, his messaging on it is not good. And I was listening to smarter people than me talk on podcasts like targeted tariffs. If you say, "Hey, our auto industry is in trouble. We really want to try to bring manufacturing back to the United States," you would do some targeted auto tariffs, and at the same time, you would do some incentives for these auto companies to then build plants in certain states, and there would be some incentive policy behind it to help the growth. Just doing the tariffs on its own is not going to do it. And then on top of that, just like you were saying a minute ago, if you're these car companies, it's going to take a couple of years to get manufacturing ramped up, like build a plant and do all that. Take a couple of
Yeah.
years, or you
By the
could
time
just,
he's out of office.
or you could just wait 4 years and see if the next president is going to not, take the tariffs off or whatever. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where they're at. Is like, well, I guess we're just going to raise prices. And he apparently called the auto companies like a couple days ago and said, "Hey, you better not pass this tariff off to the customer. You better not raise prices." And they all told him, like, "Sir, like we have no choice. We have to do it." He got asked about that. He did an interview with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press on Sunday, and I wish to God it was recorded because he said a lot of gold in this interview. But it was all like a phone call, and she had the transcript of it, so we didn't actually get to hear him say it. I would have.
What is why do they do it that way? I don't
It's
understand.
however he would agree to do it, and I guess that's the only way he would agree to do it. When you're her, and
Have
you're
any other
trying to get.
president has any other president done that? Just
Oh,
done a transcript?
they've done interviews over the phone with normally it's with journalists like Maggie Haberman of the New York Times or somebody like that who's going to now write an
Yeah.
article about it.
Yeah.
And it's up to him if he says, I'll do it Sunday morning, but I'm not going to do it on camera. Like I'll just talk to
Right.
you. Like she'll take it. But anyhow, she asked him about that, and he said, "No, I didn't tell him that. I don't care if they raise prices. I couldn't care less." And he said like three different times, he said, "I don't care if they raise prices." And it's like that's terrible messaging. Like that right there, like
Yeah.
somebody standing across his desk should have been like, "No, sir, don't say that." Like, no. And he kept saying it. And he's putting off a vibe like he really doesn't care what happens to the economy. And then Republicans are going on the news saying, "Well, Republicans knew what he was going to do." And it's like, no, I'm going to stop you right there. All the way up till the election, he said he was going to fix the economy on day one. He was going to bring prices down on day one.
Mhm.
And then it was like mid-December when he started saying, "Well, the tariffs might hurt at first." That was after the election. Like that's,
Yeah.
okay, now you're voted in and now you're changing and saying this might hurt.
Uh-huh.
Dude. Um,
I
anyhow,
don't get how people are still following him and being like, "Yeah, go Trump. I don't care about the tariffs. Yeah, raise the prices. It's just gonna hurt for a little bit. It'll be fine."
did you see what his approval rating is right now?
Is it at that 33% mark?
It went back up a couple ticks. It's right under
Oh,
50%. So it's still at
oh,
an all-time high for him. His whole first term, he was at like 43, 44. And right now, he's at the best approval he's really been at as a president. Like he's hanging out in the high 40s.
I don't buy these polls. What's going on?
What's sad is most presidents right now are in the 60 to 70% approval rating. This is called the honeymoon period where you have a little bit of grace. It's the new, but he
Uh,
came in like a wrecking ball and just started doing stuff. So he's, anyhow. Um, oh man. Okay. So I don't want to talk about this one long because it's just sad. Um, have you seen anything with Israel and Gaza recently?
no,
Okay.
I
So
haven't.
Bibi Netanyahu came out. I think it was earlier today. It might have been yesterday, and they're full on embracing it and not hiding anymore. He's like, "We're going to do Trump's plan. We're going to take over Gaza. We're going to get all of the Palestinians out of there." And like, they're just not afraid to say, like, "This is what we're doing, and who cares what you have to
Yeah.
say about it." The choice, as he put it, is pretty much you can leave, and we'll let you leave, and we'll get you to a safe other country, or you can starve to death. Those are your options. Leave, or you don't have to leave, but if you don't leave, you're going to starve to death. So that's pretty much how he put it to them. And he didn't try to sugarcoat it. Like that's not word for word what he said, but it was pretty blunt. It was just like, "Hey, leave or starve."
Did you see that Tim Dillon came out? I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but he was just like, why is the U.S. just placating to everything Israel
Yep.
is says that to tells them to do? Like, and he was talking about them like arresting these people who are outspoken against Israel, like that one girl who wrote
She
an
wrote an essay. Yeah.
anti-Israeli. Yeah,
An
yeah. I
opinion
mean,
piece. She wrote
an opinion,
it was called an editorial. She wrote an editorial
an
about
editorial
the way that Israel
for
is
her
treating Gaza.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they arrested her. And I don't know where is she? Did she get sent to that prison in
She's in
Argentina?
Louisiana, I think.
Okay.
Seems
This
like
is the holding spot.
Louisiana seems, and there's probably, let me sidetrack us real quick. Republicans keep pointing out, like, oh, the Democrats are it's called judge shopping, like where they're going to certain districts to file these suits because they know they'll get a favorable judge.
Hmm.
Republicans did that during Biden's. They kept getting rulings out of Texas and stuff that were national
Yeah.
injunctions. Both sides do that. So I don't want to hear when your side's doing it, you don't complain about it. That seems to be clearly what Trump is doing here, where they're taking these migrants down to Louisiana so then they can get them in front of Southern judges who are going to be more likely to vote for that or to rule in their favor. But I'm going to get back to what Tim Dillon said here in a second. Did you see this one? It's called the Red Crescent, which it's like I guess it's the Arab version of the Red Cross. It's a military, or not a military, sorry, like a ambulance, EMS type operation that goes in and helps get the wounded. Um, 15, 15 medics with the Red Crescent got stopped by Israeli security inside of Gaza and lined up against a wall and shot in the head. All 15 killed. And then Israel buried the bodies inside the ambulance and buried the whole ambulance to hide it. Basically, they stuck
Whoa.
all the bodies in there, dug a grave using a bulldozer, stuck the ambulance in there, and covered it with sand. Uh,
Jesus.
it got found out, and it seems that nobody's really denying it. That just happened, and these were all medics. This was medics from other countries that came in to try to help wounded people. Huge deal. Back to what you said about Tim Dillon. Israel right now, and I want to say this real clearly. Let me first start by saying I don't have any problem with Jewish people at all. Like I really don't. There's a difference. You can not have a problem with Jewish people and say that what the country of Israel is doing is a problem. It ain't right.
All right. Yeah, it's a
What
genocide. It's
what they're
complete
doing
utter
right
chaos.
now,
They have Netanyahu needs to go to jail.
they're causing a rise in anti-Semitism, and we talked about. I want to say one thing real quick. We talked a couple shows ago about anti-Semitism on the right, Candace Owens and those type people, and
Yeah.
one of my buddies that listens actually pointed out to me and said, "Dude, you kind of made it sound like the only anti-Semitism is on the right." Okay, no, there's anti-Semitism on the left too. It's different forms of anti-Semitism, and I'm not trying to like make one side sound better than the other. The left anti-Semitism is kind of anti-Zionism. Like they're against the state of Israel. They think that Israel stole that land. It's kind of more the state of Israel. Anti-Semitism on the right is the guys with tiki torches going, Jews will not replace us. Like it's two different forms, but there is
Yes.
hatred of Israel and or Jews on both sides at the moment. Okay, so I don't want to make it sound like it's just a right wing thing. But what they're doing right now is getting more and more people to kind of wake up and just like Tim Dillon said, say, hey, did we vote for Israel to control American policy? Because that's what we're getting right now. And
Yeah.
Joe Rogan had a guy on his show a couple weeks ago, Ian Carroll, who's a total conspiracy theorist, but they talked a lot about Israel's control over America and America's politicians. And like, if their goal is to reduce anti-Semitism, they're doing it exactly wrong right now. Like they're doing the exact opposite of what they
Yeah.
should be doing because it's just getting worse. Like you can't look at what's
Yeah.
going on over there and
But
not
what
be
Netanyahu wants is nobody to be outspoken against him and
yeah.
what he wants to do.
Well, and even America, Rubio revoking all these green cards and student visas, like
Mhm.
taking away people's due process over saying bad things about a certain country, that's gonna get more people to not like that country, and we get more people to
Yeah.
wake up and say, "Hey, what did they write about? What exactly did they write? Let me go read this."
Well,
It's
let's look at it
scary.
this way. Like Russia. We don't like what Russia's doing to Ukraine. But I don't mind Russians. Like I've met plenty of Russians and they're fine people.
Yeah. I've got one experience with a Russian, and it was one of our buddies' brothers' wives,
Oh
in
yeah. Yeah.
Austin. And I remember
Yeah.
one time I said something. This is when I was in my early 20s, and I was very like, remember how right after like 9/11, and we were like me and you both, I think when we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq, we were like, yeah, America, go get them. Like we were very gung
Yeah.
ho. Let's go get all those Muslims. Like I hate that we weren't right at the time, but we were both in that mode. I remember in our early 20s, I said something to her about, I was like, well, when we won the Cold War, blah, blah, blah. And she like stopped me and she was like, excuse me? You didn't win the Cold War. And I was like, dude, I was like, the Berlin Wall literally fell. Like, do you not know this? And like, I learned through talking to her that like in Russia, you have a totally different understanding of what happened there. Like, they think they won the Cold War. And like, she spoke really, this was in like 2005 to 7, and she spoke so glowingly about Putin. It was ridiculous. Hold on,
Really?
I don't want you to get distracted by my lack of fire back there. Anyhow, um, so like anytime somebody's like that from a different country, it's like I don't dislike the person at all. It's just one of those where it's like they've been brainwashed a certain way, and we've been brainwashed another way. Like both sides have been brainwashed, and it's
Yeah.
not their fault. That's kind of how I
So
feel. I even, to a degree, I look at a lot of stuff that we grew up kind of, learning, and then I look at what I know now, and it's like, oh man, we got totally brainwashed for a long time. Like we had some
nobody wins a war.
no. And like real quick, you look at like us dropping 2 nuclear bombs on civilian cities in Japan, and you can make some arguments for an invasion would have been so deadly, blah blah blah. You can do that, but it's like, whoa, hold on, we killed 80,000 civilians at once, and then we did it 3 days later again. Like,
Yeah.
anyhow, so yeah, but again, to get back to your point, like Russians aren't bad people. We don't blame Russians. We blame their stupid leader.
Yeah.
I hope the rest of the world looks at America like that right now, but I can't
And
be sure of it.
the troops have a kind of have an option, right?
Even like the Russian troops, like they've been brainwashed. They think that a lot of them think they're going over there and fighting literal Nazis. Like they think that
Uh,
the Ukrainians are Nazis and they're terrible people, and they've been
Man,
brainwashed.
I watched a video where there was an injured Russian, and the Ukrainians had him on a drone, and instead of like dropping a bullet right on his head,
A bomb.
they dropped him water. The drone gave the guy water, and then told him to follow the drone. They got him to a spot, and then the Ukrainian soldiers came in and grabbed him, and I guess
Okay.
captured him.
Part of that is that's the smart thing to do intelligence wise. Get him, give him some food and some water, and then start picking him for information. So
Sure.
not a bad idea. I've seen plenty of videos. I just will say where there's a Russian soldier laying on the ground, like kind of dying, and then they also just drop a bomb on him to finish him off. I've seen a bunch of those. So I don't think in every situation Ukraine is doing the humanitarian thing there. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Oh man, I need to send you this thing. I've been listening to this. It's on the Journal. It's like a podcast.
That's the Wall Street Journal's podcast, the Journal. Yeah, I listen
Yeah,
to that
yeah.
sometimes.
It was. Oh, okay. They have one about apparently there were two Russian spies, basically. They call them something different, but they lived in Argentina and then they got called to another country. It's a really good story. I'm gonna have to send it to you.
I'll
It's
listen to
really
it.
interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
Apparently
Um,
they just got released. They just got released because they got captured wherever country they were in. They got captured and then they just got released back to Russia. And there's like video of Putin like going up to the woman going Buenos noches and giving her a hug and giving her a kiss and like they're settling back into Russia and yeah, it's
okay.
kind of weird.
Odd. Um, Well, back to Israel real quick. So on the theme of us just doing Israel's bidding and Israel controlling us, have you seen all the recent talk about war with Iran? Because that shit's ramping up in a hurry.
I haven't seen
Oh,
that.
so Israel would love for us and Israel to jointly just wipe Iran out. Like they want that a lot. I think that Trump also just wants to attack Iran. I feel like he wanted to attack Iran the first time, and he wanted them to give him a reason to. And anyhow, I feel like we're back to that. Israel would love if we did that. Trump
So would Pete
said,
Hegseth and
here, I'm getting to them.
yeah.
Trump said the other day that if Iran doesn't make a deal, there will be bombing the likes of which they've never seen before. And then in a tweet after a Truth Social after that, he said the real pain is yet to come for both the Houthis and their sponsors in Iran. So he's openly talking shit to Iran. Iran shot back and said, if America strikes us, they will feel pain like they've never felt before, something like that, And they both, I've learned the supreme leader of Iran, I can't even say his name. Him and Trump both kind of speak the same. It's like, we're going to bomb you like you've never seen before. And then the other guy's like, oh, yeah, well, you're going to feel pain like you've never seen before. And it's like,
It's like too macho camachos.
you guys could be buddies right now. Oh, sorry, Macho Camacho. Stop me real quick. Did you see? Sorry, let me take a second here. I should have gotten this ready for the show. Remember the whole thing about Zelensky and how he didn't dress appropriately to be in the Oval Office?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see Kid Rock in the Oval Office the other day?
Oh, I did.
There's
Yeah.
pictures of him beside Macho Camacho, and it's like the perfect mashup. But when I saw Kid Rock, it's like, whoa, he's meeting the president in the Oval Office, and look what the hell he's wearing.
That was a way nicer suit than what Zelensky was wearing.
That was that guy's hysterical. Anyhow, so back to Iran. Rubio, Hegseth, and Waltz would love to bomb Iran. Like those are
Yeah.
three key players in Trump's administration, and
What
they've been
about Gabbard?
hold on.
Okay.
Gabbard, and apparently JD Vance. Because JD, remember in the Houthi signal leak, JD Vance
Mm.
was the one person to speak up and say, "Hey, does what he said? Does the president realize that this isn't really in touch with his no new wars, no new, So he was the first person. He was the only person to speak up and say that, and then everybody else shot him down. And he said, "Okay, I'll just do what you guys want." But Tulsi and JD seem like the only two people that might be the hey, let's maybe not bomb Iran caucus in the White House.
Okay.
I don't think that they're going to say shit because if Trump is down, which it seems like Trump would love to do that, Rubio, Hegseth, and Waltz would love to do that. I don't think Tulsi is going to speak up, and I don't think JD is going to dare cross what Trump says. So it's up to Tulsi to maybe kind of politely try to convince Trump that hey, this would be a bad idea. I don't think she's going to win. I'm just saying. I
No, she's
think
not going to win. She's just happy to be there. But all of them are just happy to be there. But the warmonger people seem to be like, yeah, we get free reign at like bombing people. Let's do this.
well, and so the guy we talked about last time, Thomas Massey, which I think last time we said he was from Kansas. I think he's actually from Tennessee, I believe. You can look that up for me real quick. But he called this out like a couple weeks ago. He said, "Hey, everybody, pay attention because there's going to be a new conflict opening up soon. Basically, the money that we spend buying these bombs from the defense contractors, the industrial military complex, like
Mm.
we got to keep spending that money. Like those companies expect us to keep buying bombs, and we got to use them somewhere. So since we're pulling back in Ukraine, like everybody be on the lookout. They're going to find a new spot to start dropping bombs to keep that money flowing to those contractors. And
Oh yeah.
right after that, we bombed the Houthis, and he even pointed out on Twitter. He was like, "See, I told you, they'd be on the lookout." And he is now predicting that Iran is basically, and he said that Iran's gonna be the new spot where we're spending money on. But then other people are taking it a step further and saying, "Hey, Iran is the perfect little out for Trump, where like start a war with Iran. It's kind of popular. Over 50% of America don't like Iran, and they could be convinced with the right messaging that we need to do it. And then also that would pull all the energy off Ukraine. People would stop focusing on Ukraine because now we have our troops, our fighters are dropping. This is an American war at this point. So he could pull back out of Ukraine, and then he could justify it and say, "Hey, we can't keep giving money to Ukraine. We need to spend this money in Iran. We're in war with Iran." And also that would serve to make Israel really happy, and that seems to be what we're all about. So a war with Iran kind of works for him in a couple different ways. Now,
Okay. Hmm.
I still think there's a chance that he could be doing his be super aggressive and super threatening to try to get them to come to the table and do a deal. The problem is, and no Republican will want to hear this, we had a deal. Obama had a nuclear deal with them, then they weren't going to make a nuke, and there was nothing wrong with that deal. And Trump came in and said, "No, this is a stupid deal," and he tore it up his first time in. Biden wanted to get it replaced. I don't know how much effort they put into trying to replace it, but it hasn't been
Yeah.
replaced yet. And now Trump's saying, "Hey, they better come to the table and do a deal about not having nukes." And it's like, there was a deal. There was a deal, and you got rid of it. Like what? Anyhow,
Yeah.
so get ready.
Yep.
War with Iran will be interesting. It'll be like Iraq. Me and you are never going to be in danger, but just the thought of opening up a new war that, like, what are you going to do? Regime change? We saw how that worked out in Afghanistan and Iraq. We're going to be there for 20 years and eventually leave, and nothing will be fixed. It's just a stupid waste of money. Uh, or
What was this thing? Trump is mad at Putin right now, and he's threatening to tariff the countries that buy oil from Putin.
I don't buy this for a second, but remember Trump said I could solve this on day one, and then
Yeah.
he basically Trump laid out America's plan for a ceasefire, just a ceasefire while we work out an actual peace agreement. And
Hmm.
Putin said no, and then Putin came back and said, "Hey, we'll do energy infrastructure in the Black Sea, but that's it to start with. Let's just do a ceasefire in those two areas. The reason he said that is because that's the only area that they're getting hurt in. Is Ukraine is using drones and glide bombs to go over the border and hit their oil fields and all kinds of places. Like that's where they're targeting is their oil. And then in the
Mhm.
Black Sea, they're using kamikaze drones and boat drones to like hit Russian ships. So those are the only two areas where Russia's suffering losses. And he said, "Hey, let's just do this. Let's just do it for these two areas at first." And then they came back with some more demands after that. And Trump and America's government, Trump or whoever, said, no, we're not doing all that. And now Putin's basically like, yeah, I don't know if I want peace then. So he's making Trump look bad. And Trump said he was pissed, and he said he was going to do a tariff on all oil, which that will hurt Europeans. And normally, if you were going to do that as America, you would say, hey, stop buying it from Russia. You need to buy it from here or there. We'll help get oil to you. But he's not doing any of that. He's just saying we're going to raise
Yeah.
prices. I think it's all a ruse. I don't think he's mad at Putin at all, but I think he's saying what he needs to say. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong, and he could prove me wrong by taking some kind of action. He used a lot of leverage to get Ukraine to come to the table. He has put zero leverage into making Russia come to the table. So let's see it.
Mhm.
Do something to him to make them want to stop this war. He's not doing
Yeah, I
that.
know.
So I don't buy the I'm pissed thing from him at all on that.
Have you seen that the Ukrainians got F-14s and they're doing some damage to Russia with them?
I have not seen that at all. In fact, I
I
question if
watched a
that's real.
couple of videos recently on it, and so there was one where Russia shot like I don't know 20 missiles into Ukraine, and one F-14 shot down like six of their missiles. And these guys just got these jets, don't really know how to fly them that well, and they're like doing some incredible stuff with them. It's pretty impressive.
So did you say F-14?
I think it was F-14.
It's F-16s.
Oh, F-16. Okay.
Yeah, so the F-14 just I should have caught that, but the F-14 is the Tomcat. That's what Tom Cruise flew in the original Top Gun, and
Yeah,
that
that's what I
plane,
thought it was. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that plane is long done. Um,
Well, they got them from like Belarus or some country in Europe.
yeah, it looks like it wasn't Belarus. Belarus is one of the countries that like the leader of Belarus is very much Putin's
Or Putin.
little
Yeah, yeah.
puppet. Yeah, it says they got 10 F-16s, so yeah, and I'll have to look into that. All right, so I got one thing left, but you had mentioned something to me the other day that I told you to save it for the show. What's happening with the bees? What's going on here?
Oh yeah, the bees. Well, apparently it's like something like 50% of the bee population, the honeybee population, not like the natural bees, but the honeybee population dies every year, right?
Okay, I'll
A
take your
good
word
chunk
for
of
it.
them.
I don't know that, but I'll take your word for it.
I kind of had to do a little research because I watched something that was kind of sensationalizing it. And so this year, 60 to 70% of the beehives, the bee population has died this winter. They're not really sure exactly why yet.
Okay,
Um,
was it an
but they're
extra cold
saying
winter?
it wasn't because it was extra cold winter.
Okay,
It could be, they're saying it could either be mites or it could be like the herbicides, the pesticides that we're using on our crops, global warming, like there's a number of things.
okay,
Um,
something's.
they don't really know yet, but it's going to really damage the almond crop this year.
And correct me if I'm wrong, like the whole thing with the bees is like they're responsible for a lot of the pollination. I remember there was a fear a while back that like Wi-Fi and 5G and all those things were like throwing off the bees' ability to communicate or something, and like that could ruin. We could all starve to death because there's no greenery, no vegetables, no grass because of the bees or something. There was something like that people were afraid of a couple years ago,
Albert
right?
Einstein, he said if the bees dies, the human population only has 4 years to live.
Jesus. Okay, we got to figure out how to pollinate shit ourselves. That's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, anyhow, okay. Well,
Goodbye.
thanks for bringing that up, man.
Yeah.
Dick. All right. So the last thing I got for tonight, you have brought this up, I think, once a week with me, whether it's on the show or not. But the possibility of Donald Trump running for a third term. Have you heard the newest and
Oh, he's
latest on
coming
this?
back. He's going for it. They're really putting it out there, aren't they?
Every time you brought it up to me, I'm like, dude, he's not gonna run for a third term. I think we're cool there. Kristen Welker and her little interview with him brought that up to him, and she did bring it up to him. He didn't just come right out and say it. She asked him about it. But he basically said, "No, I'm serious. Like there are ways that I could do it." He wouldn't say the ways, and she suggested him. She goes, "Oh, are you talking about the thing where like JD would run for president and you would be his vice president, and then he would resign, making you the president?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, that's one of the ways, but there's other methods." So
Yeah.
he said that there people have talked to him about people have talked to him about different methods he could do it,
Right.
and
Well, they got to get rid of the 22nd Amendment is one of them, right?
the 22nd and the 12th Amendment. So to pour a little cold water on this, the 22nd Amendment says that no person can run for office who's previously been elected twice. He's previously been elected twice. He cannot run for president. The 12th Amendment says that you can only run as vice president if you meet the criteria to event. Like if something were to happen and you had to be the president, you have to meet all that criteria, meaning being a natural born citizen, 35 years of age, like all the same rules for the president. And people believe strongly that that would also include you haven't already been elected twice. That's not written in the Constitution, but people are saying it just says you have to meet all the requirements. That one they could maybe test. But then also, my thing is like JD seems a little power hungry. Do you think JD would get in and then like actually give up power to Trump? I don't know if he would.
Maybe
The,
not. Well,
the
here's another thing they could do is they could go JD with another vice president, and then those two step down, but put Trump in as Speaker of the
Speaker of
House,
the
and then those
House.
two step down.
They could do it. I if he was going to do the whole run as vice president thing, I think he would do it with Don Jr. Because Don Jr. There's no way Don Jr. is double crossing him. Like if that's the plan, Don's going to step aside for Daddy. If it's JD, I don't know. I don't know that he would do it.
Well, who's the Eric's wife? What's her name? Laura Trump?
Lara Trump.
Lara Trump.
Yeah, it's not
Her
Laura,
her
it's Lara. I
her
don't know
beautiful
why.
vocals
God,
to be
she's
president.
a terrible singer. Which she supposedly is going to be running for the Senate seat in Florida. Supposedly, I don't know if she's really gonna, but
Okay.
that's being talked about. Which
Interesting.
she is only where she is because she married a Trump. She's the head of the GOP right now, or the chair of the GOP.
Right.
Anyhow, I think does she also have her own Fox show? Who I don't think here. I don't think she does. I don't think she has her own. She has a podcast, I believe. So anyhow.
A singing career, man. She's just multi-talented.
Well, and she's so great. But Breaking Points. We both watched Breaking Points. Crystal Ball had I guess Crystal Kalinsky now. She had a monologue today about Elon and Trump and what they're planning to do to basically steal elections going forward. And
Okay, hold on one second.
go
I
ahead.
want to keep talking about this because I think I mentioned this to you. I was listening to what's his name? Not the guy for Crystal, but with Crystal Ball. What's his name?
Sauger.
Sauger. Yeah, Sauger had a good point, and he said the 22nd Amendment actually got us some of the worst presidents we've ever had, like Donald Trump. Because if
Obama could have easily won in 2016. Yeah.
and George W. Bush,
Yeah.
because Clinton would have probably won a third
Yeah.
term. So the two worst presidents we've had, George W. Bush and Trump, were because we had the Second Amendment in place.
But in
The
both of
22nd.
I think he very wisely said that because both of the examples you can look at are like, oh, look, the Democrat would have won. But like if both of the examples where we would have gotten a third term of a Republican, you wouldn't be all about this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Well, I'm trying to think who it would have been.
that's the thing is if Reagan wasn't having dementia, if Reagan wasn't so old, Reagan probably could have won a third term.
Mm,
George W. Bush blew up the economy with like a year to go, so there's no way he would have won re-election. And then Trump had COVID, which in as much as I don't think Trump would have breezed to re-election, you can never say what would have happened with Trump had COVID not hit. You just have
right.
to. That's one of those things we'll never know. Um, yeah, I would like to think that everybody got real fucking tired of Trump at the end of 4 years last time. Like,
Yeah.
and what's weird is we all, and I don't know if it's just Americans or if it's the world, but like we have terrible memories. Is the best way I can say it. Like we all look back and like I was laughing at how many people were like, man, like honestly, Trump's first 4 years were pretty good. I mean, the economy was good, everything was good, and it's like. What? Like if I could take you in a time machine back to 2019 just before COVID, you would not describe it as good. Like America was in a
Yeah.
pretty weird place at that point, even pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Then COVID started and it really went downhill.
Oh my
But
God.
we all kind of forget. So I would like to think that at the end of this 4 years, we'll just be fucking sick and tired of Trump at that point, and there's no way he could win again. I'd like to
Yeah.
think. I can't guarantee that. So,
So if
but
Trump goes to Iraq, can't he deploy something where he stays in power through the war?
so Iran and
Iran.
yeah. So and that's the thing is sometimes you don't have elections during a time of war. Um, It would depend on what kind of a war Iran was. Like the thing is, like with Iraq and Afghanistan, like we were at war during the presidential election in 2004, 8, 12, and 16, technically. I mean, we had troops over there, we were dealing with
Yeah.
insurgency, but
Yeah,
we still
yeah.
had elections. In general, it's when your country is under attack. Like if we had foreign troops on our soil, then you wouldn't dare hold an election. And this is what Republicans don't understand about Ukraine is like 20 to 25% of their country is occupied by opposing forces. So how do you hold an election in that 20 to 25% of the country? Like you can't physically
Yeah.
do it. So how do you hold an election at all? And that's why they're not doing elections, and it's in their constitution that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you have an opposing force occupying part of your country, you can't very well do an election. So that now there's no scenario where Iran like pulls up on our shores and Iranian troops come running off into Myrtle Beach and take over North Carolina. Like that's not about to happen.
Hmm.
Anyhow, but with Crystal's thing with Elon, and I missed this last week. There's so much, Trump's whole thing about flood the zone, like, and get everybody to watch Doge and watch this, and then other shit's happening behind the
Mhm.
scenes. And I'm going to sidestep real quick. Everybody's like, even with the Trump third term thing, certain Republicans are going on shows and they're going, hey, like, don't take the bait. Like, he's just saying stuff to try to rally y'all up. Don't take the bait. And it's like, I agree, don't take the bait, but also like there are some of these things that we all tend to go, he's not really gonna, and then he does. So you kind
Yeah.
of you can't just be like, don't take the bait. You have to keep your eye on everything all at the same time, which is impossible to do.
Yeah.
But last week, while everything else was going on, he did an executive order for some different federal voting laws, which I think we might have touched on this. But like the whole point of our elections is that they're decentralized, and it's hard.
Oh yeah.
You can't cheat a national election if the voting is all decentralized. Each precinct handles their vote and then passes that number up to the state where it's all tallied.
Hmm.
It's smart that we do it that way instead of having a federally run election. They did it that way for a reason. For that reason, the states get to handle most of how they vote. The federal government has very little to do with it. A lot of what Trump did in that executive order like just can't be done. One of the things that got snuck in there, though, is that he's asking Department of Homeland Security and Doge to review each state's voter registration list using subpoenas if needed. So they want Elon and his guys to get their hands on the voter registration rules. Not in all states, but in most states, the voter registration identifies if you're a registered Democrat or Republican. So right there, Elon knows who's who. And then there,
Elon's not going to be part of Doge anymore, right?
Elon's people, Doge is still going to exist. Elon's going to step back, but Doge will still exist, and those are all his
Oh,
people. Okay, so he'll still have a hand in all this. So
oh
suddenly,
yeah.
Elon's going to know everybody who's registered to vote, and if they're a Democrat or Republican, what could they do with that information? Could they use that to have the IRS go after you, or
Sure.
any conspiracy theory can follow from there. It's kind of scary just to think about a private billionaire having all that information. Um,
Yeah.
the
Very
other thing,
scary.
the other thing they're going to do, and during the it was during the first. Remember when Trump won in 2016, but he still claimed that there must have been cheating because he lost the popular vote and he didn't like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So he's like, "Oh,
yeah.
at least 5 million illegals voted in California, and this and that." Like he kept saying that, and then he had a guy named Chris Kobach, who was, I think, like a governor or not a governor, maybe a congressman out of Kansas, and he had that guy do a commission. It was a big deal. He was going to prove that there was cheating in the election, even though he won. One of the things that they brought up is it's called the interstate cross check. The interstate basically they cross check names to see like, hey, like one of the examples they brought up was a guy named James Brown, and they said, hey, this guy James Brown voted 258 times in Georgia alone. Okay, and they had this in their formal report. The state of Georgia
Okay.
goes afterward and looks into this, and you won't believe it, but there's 258 different James Browns in the state of Georgia that are registered to
That
vote.
makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
It's a very common name, but like they don't understand that. So the theory here, and this is the last couple of elections, what red states and Texas did it last time. They wait, and by law, they're not allowed to touch the voter rolls within 90 days of an election. So they wait until like the 91 days before an election, and they say, "Oh, hey, we had to clean up the voter logs, the voter rolls, because there's probably a lot of people on there that shouldn't be on there." And they go through and they just delete people's voter registration. Okay, the
They did that to
only
me in Texas.
so the only way that you'll find out that you can go online and check the status of your voter registration, and like if you're lucky enough to be receiving mailers from either the Democrat or the Republican parties, they'll send out like emails or mailers and say, "Hey, there's 90 days till the election. Be sure to check your voter registration status." A lot of people don't actually do that. They're like, "Oh no, I'm registered. I'm good." Well, if you show up on election day and it turns out you're not registered, in almost every state, like, sorry, you don't get to vote this time. They kicked you off the voter roll 91 days ago. You didn't catch it. It's too late to now. Some states do allow same day registration. So on voting day,
Hmm.
you can show up and realize you're not registered. At that point, you have to go through all the steps and provide the different forms of ID. You can register and still vote. Not all states do that. Very few of them do. But that seems like that might be the play here. Is they're going to go through and as many Democrats as they can find a reason to kick them off the roll. We got a Dustin here. We also have a Dustin in this other state. Let's kick them both off the rolls because they're probably the same person. And then
Yeah.
then election time comes around and it turns out a lot of people find out, oh my God, I got kicked off the roll. Why? It's too late to do anything about it. Like it's just too late. So that's the theory heading into either the midterms or the next presidential election. Look out for that. That's what people are afraid is about to happen.
Okay. Okay. This
So
is gonna be interesting.
and here's the thing is they can only do that in this because the state still controls the voter rolls. So Elon can come into Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, all the red states, and basically look through all their stuff and then provide the governor or the secretary of state normally runs elections. He could provide him with a list. Hey, here's all the people that I think are not real or should be kicked off for one reason or another. And then those red states can do it. So that will only work in red states, but that'll lock up those red states. So if it's a state right now that has a Republican governor, Republican secretary of state, you could almost guarantee that that state's going to vote Republican in the presidential election if they successfully do this. And right now,
Hmm.
there are more states with Republican governors than there are Democrats.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
anyhow, so that's what we have to look forward to. Be on the lookout for that. That's scary and fun. Remember, Trump said, "If you vote for me this time, you'll never have to do it again." Because
Yeah.
I'm starting to look at this and I'm like, oh man, like this Project 2025, they did their homework. They had a plan. They're executing the plan. Like that's where we're at here. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, by
Yeah.
the way, I think it's official now. The Democrat judge has won the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat as we're
Okay.
finishing
What are the
this
other
show.
elections going on? We didn't talk about those.
Oh, we did. The other two that happened tonight, that the Republicans won by about 14 points, and
Oh,
the previous election, the person running for that seat won by 30 points. So they lost
okay.
about 16 points. So
Interesting.
I remember that's why I was saying if you're a Republican House member in kind of a purple district, like now you're a little scared. It's like crap. I won by two.
Yeah.
I won by 2% last time, but it appears there's about a 14, 15 point swing that's happening in America. So I'm screwed next time. The Democrats have the energy. And let's just reiterate this: the greatest thing that could have happened tonight is this Democrat winning, simply because I think that the Republicans are going to look at this now and say, hey, Elon went in and dumped all this money and we got our ass kicked. People do not look like Elon right now. Don't send him to any other states where there's special elections.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cross your fingers and hope that that's
Yeah,
where
but
we're
they
at.
have other methods.
Well,
They're gonna keep trying
Elon
other
could
methods.
just pour money in and do it quietly, and it'd probably be really successful. But
Yeah.
instead, he went there and held a rally, and he gave away millions of dollars, and it became an election where it was basically this woman liberal judge versus Elon Musk. Like that's what it came down to in the voters' eyes. That's what they ran the ads on. So,
That's pretty great.
yep.
Okay.
So I'm watching a victory party in Madison, Wisconsin right now. So,
Elon loses. I love it.
yeah. But this also, real quick, we've talked about gerrymandering a little bit before, but right now, Wisconsin is heavily gerrymandered. Elon keeps going out and saying, hey, the Democrats, if they win this, like this is vital to the House of Representatives, because if the Democrats win this, they're going to gerrymander it and try to flip a couple seats to be Democrat. He is lying, but he's also not lying. And I want to make this point, okay? Yes, they want to take a look at the seats, but here's the thing. Wisconsin is always a 50-50 state. Like it is one of the big toss-up states, okay? It's 49-50, 51-48, somewhere in that range for president.
Right.
Yet, the way the maps are drawn by Republicans, there's 8 House seats, and Democrats always have 2 of them, and Republicans have 6. So
Oh, wow.
they draw the districts really funny, where even though it's a 50-50 state, the representation in the House is very lopsided. So the Democrats want to go in and fix that. And it's like, hey, if this is a 50-50 state, then it should be like 4-4 or 5-4, but it shouldn't be 6-2. Like that doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense. So
that
that's
makes
what
sense.
could happen now. Let's hope.
Okay, good.
So that
Good.
would
And I think Elon is like he's going to court in Wisconsin over some
so
stuff.
yeah, he actually is suing the state, and that people a lot of people think that's why he put a lot of money into this is because he wanted to make sure that basically
Hmm.
there was a conservative Supreme Court, and also he kind of owns one of those judges on the conservative side. That would have been real
Oh,
nice for him. But
oh,
this guy lost, so he doesn't own anybody there now. And
nice.
also, Elon is being sued by two of his baby mamas right now. Ashley St. Clair, who is the Republican influencer on like online, and then I think the other one is I don't think it's Grimes. I can't remember who the other one is, but they're both suing because basically he's being a deadbeat dad right now.
Oh,
And that Ashley St. Clair girl was like all like the paparazzi. I think it was one of sometimes like B-list celebrities will tell the paparazzi where they're going to be so that they show up, and it seemed like it was very much one of those things. But
totally.
suddenly they have her, and she's like selling her Tesla back to the dealership, and she's like, "Oh,
Oh,
I have to sell it because Elon stopped paying child support." Blah 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 blah, and like she's the one that said that she's been trying to reach out to him for like I guess months at this point, and he won't
yeah.
respond. And
Wow.
so she put that video up and kind of shit talked to Elon, and then he actually responded on Twitter. I don't get why this is playing out for all of us to watch, but it did. And he responded to her, and then she responded to that, and it's just a soap opera. It's like, man, Elon, like all you got to do is contact her offline, and none of us would see any of this. But he, for
Yeah.
some reason,
All you gotta do is pay your student child support. You
which
have
and here's the thing
billions of
is
dollars.
he said that like he's paying like close to, I think it was like 600,000 a year is what he's giving them. And I guess he had been giving them more, but he dropped it down to 600,000 a year. So it sounds like both of these moms are probably getting more than any other mom, but they're still mad because it's not. And they're probably mad because he's not talking to them more than anything.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
All right. I have something for you.
okay.
I learned this week and it was like, what the heck? Okay. So do you know what the difference is between 1 million and 1 billion?
Man, so yeah, I saw a video where somebody was explaining it. It's staggering, but go ahead.
Yeah, so 1 million seconds equals 11 and a half days roughly.
And a billion is
One,
like 32 years or something like that, right?
yeah, almost 32 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
A billion seconds is 30. So that's insane.
Yep. The
And
whole Bernie
how many billion does Elon have?
Google it. What is he worth? What is Elon Musk worth?
Yeah,
It's
let's
hundreds
see.
of billions. I know that he's on his way to a trillion, or he was till all his different companies are now getting hated.
342.
342 billion. Yeah. Hey, here's the thing is, you know how Bernie does the whole like there shouldn't be millionaires or billionaires. Sorry, there shouldn't be
Yeah.
billionaires. Like, yeah, I agree with that, but like nobody should have 342 billion dollars. Like he should,
No,
yeah. And if he
absolutely
wants to
not.
drop $20 million here and there on elections, instead drop that into something that'll help people. I don't care what it is, but start spending your money to help people that need help, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, get it down to under a billion. Like and start helping people, feed people,
yeah.
whatever. I don't know. There's plenty of charities out there that would love $1 billion.
Like I said a while ago, at this point, it becomes like a dick measuring contest. Like he wants to be the first to a trillion. He wants to have more than Bezos, or like there's a handful of billionaires in the world that like it really matters. It's a competition. Like it matters to them
Yeah.
to be richer than the other guy. And like
Yeah.
the thing that annoys me the most is so many people say, "Hey, Elon doesn't care about the money. He's got more than enough money, so he's not doing this for money." And it's like, no, I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding of these billionaires. Like the money does matter very much to them. And
Yeah.
and they're like,
Oh,
well, look, he dropped 22 million in this race. He clearly gives away his money. No, he did that to potentially, had he done that and he won his
make
lawsuit.
more money.
Exactly. It's an
Save
investment for
money.
him.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
smartly spent money to make more money. So,
Okay. So he has 342 billion. Could you imagine if he took 341 billion dollars
okay.
and just gave it to charities? 1 billion per charity for 341 charities across the world.
It'd be awesome, but he's not going to do that. But
Wouldn't that be amazing?
yeah, no, that might be the one thing he could do to get back in the good graces of the left.
I would be a big fan of his if he did that. Elon Musk, donate your money. Get out of this rat race.
I'll bet he's
Live a
watching right
simple
now.
life, a humble life.
Yeah.
Enjoy your family, your children. You have 32 children. Enjoy them. I'm
He's only
speaking
got-
directly to you, Elon Musk.
I think he has like, what is it, 14 or 15 children for real? Like, I think
Yeah,
that's what he has.
that.
It's like
Yeah.
five baby mamas, 14 or 15 kids.
Yeah,
So-
start paying your child support.
Yep.
At least.
This guy. So,
Uh,
all right. That's all I got for tonight. You got anything else, buddy?
nah.
All right. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you later, sir.
You too. Later, bro.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.